Yes, like you're wrong. I just bought the product. Like I know. You don't need to put your little fingers in front of the screen to hide your face of shame. I know.
Don't worry. That's not what's going on, baby.
Give the man a minute. You knocked him out.
Yeah, you were so mean to me. Whoa. Welcome to May the Zoo be with you, America's favorite TCG podcast. I am, of course, joined by Mike Waddell's #1 most wanted, Josh.
Hey, everyone.
Starting it off spice.
And
everyone.
And I am also joined by a man who has 99 problems, and being wrong about Lorcana is definitely one. Louis DeGeorge.
What's up, everyone? And of course, we are joined by the #1 Disney fan. At heart, he is 6 years old. In real life, he's at least 65. George from Compete Sport.
I feel that in my bones.
Welcome, everyone, back to the podcast. We're so stoked that you are here. Thank you for listening, watching, digesting, and being involved in the like button and the comment section. Make sure you hit subscribe. Help us out with that algorithm. We really appreciate that. And we're stoked to talk to you guys about a bunch of TCG stuff. You guys want to go through the rundown?
Like button? Why did the like button sound like an affair there? You guys are all involved with the like button, like on the side.
You get to tap it.
What's up with that?
And this is why you don't believe in Disney Lorcana. And we found it. That's great. Thank you, everybody.
Right. Here's the rundown for you, everyone. We are going to talk about Dominaria to 0K and how right I was about Dominaria. Yep.
Depends on what side of the fence you're on this week.
You guys are... We're going to talk about the Warhammer decks and how right George was. We'll talk about Lorcana and the absolute pumping. What are you talking about, George, with Lorcana? We don't even know.
But the 6-card sets were amazing. The Mickey card was amazing. The pin was amazing.
Right, we'll get there.
Everything's going nuts, and I am super hyped for the game.
We're going to do the prices right. We're going to talk about new TCGs and where their price point should be for boxes. Lots of cool stuff there. George is going to tell us about his Genesis deck that he is teched out. He knows everything. Josh and I barely know how to play the game, but George is a pro. He's going to talk to us about that. Cryptic printed their boxes, and we're going to talk about the Mothman Festival and Wilderness boxes and the pricing that is going on. So, going to be a fun episode. Let's hop in. Dominaria to 0K. I'm going to set the picture, and then George can give you his take for the 4th time and ruin the podcast again. But Dominaria, the boxes currently are at a price point where after shipping and fees, stores are losing money on collector boxes, even with the Legends cards and all that stuff. George, go ahead and tell us how that makes you feel.
Nothing. That has always been true for every Magic set I have ever carried that's a standard set.
Yep.
This is always the way it is. The question is not when the supply is at the absolute maximum, the week of release. Where the price is, what matters is where the price is in a couple weeks. This happened to Kamigawa. This certainly happened to Capenna. This certainly happened to every set.
Capenna got wrecked. Capenna is not... I agree that this is typical for a Magic set, but this is the first set since the giant price increase. And this set is not performing in the same way that Kamigawa did. Kamigawa tanked after a massive reprint, and I would argue that the supply for Kamigawa versus demand, the difference is at its lowest point right now. Where previous with Kamigawa, the demand was super high and the supply, but now there is so much supply at the distribution level. But Dominaria, it's already there. It's 1 week after release, and stores are dumping it.
No. We are not going to change the definition to dumping to selling at break even. We're not going to do that.
You want to compare it to Baldur's Gate? You want to say that's something?
That's dumping. Stores are selling at break even, which is perfectly healthy for the week after release. I'll redo what we did last time for the viewers who are now on my 18th take for this stupid podcast with you two bozos. If your business plan as a store online, not in person is different. If your plan online is, I have an idea, I'm going to sell a massive amount of Magic the week after release maybe it's time to rethink your business plan and go see a therapist instead, because that needs work.
Sure.
That
the time to make money in Magic is pre-orders.
It's pre-orders,
and
which are risky. And once the supply dries up, you will never make money as a store the week after release online for a standard set. That's not the business model. That's not the business plan. I'm sorry.
That is completely fair, but that is not what we said or what we were talking about in the attitude of this podcast in the previous 2 weeks. We compared it to Kamigawa, of which was the opposite. Set boxes for Kamigawa were flying. I was making $20-$30 a box on set box of Kamigawa weeks after release.
So wait, before we were talking about collector, are we now talking about set?
No, just in general, I'm talking about Magic sets. Like we compared it. You want to compare it with collector boxes? It's similar. Like the collector boxes a couple weeks after release were selling for $280.
No.
I pulled it up in February.
A couple weeks
February
after
21st.
It was a month after.
Release pre-order prices were $234. They dipped down to $209, which is $10 less than the current price.
It's $20 less than the current price. Continue.
No, not of collector boxes, of Dominaria. Dominaria collector boxes are $222. The bottom for Kamigawa was $209. Then they jumped right back up the next week to $224, back to $215, and then skyrocketed
and
to
that
$282.
Could absolutely happen again.
Yeah.
They dipped, then they went to the moon.
Yep.
Then they reprinted 1 billion boxes. Now they're at the floor.
They put 1 billion boxes back in the market, and they take.
That could absolutely happen here as well. We don't know. My thesis on Dominaria has not changed.
Okay.
It's a good set. It has good cards, and it has the chance at the most valuable cards you've ever been able to pull from a collector box. And they're very fun to open.
They are fun to open.
That's what matters.
Josh, what's your take?
Oh, I didn't know if I was going to talk this podcast. Just kind of sit back and watch you guys box for the next.
You can talk.
I was really hoping this would turn into a fist fight, and I would just have front row seats. I was very excited. I was extremely excited for that. So, first of all, Louis, I want to get you on the record. Is this set a failure then?
I think this set is as much less of a success than we thought it was last week.
So it's a smaller success.
I mean, like, I get the point that it's a standard set. I think the failure is in Magic raising the prices and raising the prices and then trying to justify the raising of prices by being like, oh, there's Legends cards in it. Oh, there's blah, blah, blah. Like the consumer is saying that the price shouldn't be higher.
I hate you so much. I have never said that the Legends cards in the box contribute to the current value.
I'm saying that is what
kick me in the teeth with that.
I'm saying that that's what Wizards is saying.
Welcome to May the Zuby with you, Josh. Welcome to May the Zuby with you. We lies about what you say, then hits you with it every week and fuds it up. Continue, Josh.
That's not true. That's not true.
And lies about numbers. Continue,
you just fud about me. George just fuds about me.
All right, so I think what we're going to see here is Dominaria United's been a culture shock to the community, from a player base, from a collector base, from people who buy this product. It's the first time that there's this price increase, and the community is telling you they're not happy with it. However, I don't think it's going anywhere.
Of course not.
So I think we're the price increase. So we're going to look back on Dominaria. We need to be conditioned. A couple more sets are going to release with this new pricing under the price increase. And once we get used to it, we will then turn and look back fondly upon Dominaria United. I think you're onto something when you mentioned the fact that the price increase is throwing a wrench in this machine. It is a little bit, especially because your LGS can't be competitive right now. You guys mentioned prices that you're selling boxes at off the shelf. You can always be, you can't even be close right now. No. So I think we got some kinks to work through when it comes to this price increase and how we're going to receive it.
Hey, Louis, can I ask you a quick question?
Yes, George.
Did you try to get more collector booster boxes from distribution this week?
Of course I did.
Wow. Why?
Not
failure.
Not because it's a win for my store. Like it's not.
Wait,
it's not.
I was on your.
I just want more for my personal collection.
Why?
Because I didn't save enough for my personal collection. I sold them on TCG Player, and I opened a bunch of boxes, and I want more for my personal collection. That's why I was getting more. Like,
say no more, fam.
Like what are you saying, George?
I'm saying why not wait a couple of weeks? I'm sure the price will go down lower, and you can buy it even cheaper than distribution.
I don't know that this turns into. So the question is, does this turn into? I guess now my question is, does this turn into Kamigawa where you can still get boxes at the original price, or does this turn into New Capenna where they're discounting it in 3 months?
Shout out New Capenna, underrated.
They are not discounting Capenna. They are using it as timber to light fires as a higher value.
Capenna.
Yeah.
No.
Oh my! Like Josh, if you want some, we'll talk tomorrow.
I was say, do I have to DM you still, or can I just call you?
Yeah, no. Distribution is like buy a booster pack of Pokemon, get a case of New Capenna for free. They are giving away Capenna.
I gotta start a store. This sounds awesome.
Just call me. I got you.
I think that the price increase is producing a lot of sticker shock for people, and I think wallet fatigue. You've got a lot of products coming out, a huge amount of. And George, like, I don't think your store is not normal. Like
that's because it's the best store.
Yeah, you're right. It's because it's the best store. It's not normal. It's not a normal ecosystem of an LGS. And I think like this is turning into a, hey, let's rotate our inventory and find the set that works. And I guess that's what it is. I mean, like Dominaria or like Double Masters is a set that works. Like obviously not every set can be that.
I haven't heard anyone that doesn't like Dominaria as a set. I haven't heard anybody that doesn't like playing with the cards. I haven't heard anyone that doesn't like the experience of opening the packs. Yep. The only thing I've heard is about the lowered prices. So something here, and this is what's weird to me, something doesn't add up, right? Normally, the negativity in the community is very loud. If the set is garbage, like Commander Legends, we hear about it. The set's clearly not garbage. We're not hearing about it. Sorry, Commander Legends 2, George, before I break your brain. It's the one Louis likes the most. That set is not garbage. So
never living that down.
No,
that's the worst. That is the worst take on this podcast, and we had some bad takes before.
Yeah, particularly.
But truth. I don't know. It seems like to me there's something else afoot here, and I want to say it's the price increase.
All right, can I just say this with nothing but love for mainly you, Josh, and somewhat for Louis? You guys are way overreading 5 days of data.
Okay. All right.
This happens in every single Magic set I've ever been a part of. The price goes down the week after release.
I stood by while you bozoed me after not saying a single word on the pod. I will not have you throw me in a bucket with Louis. I still think this is set of the year.
I do too. I'm not worried. I asked my distro for the max out amount of collector boxes.
Yeah.
That's pretty sweet.
Guess what I'm going to do next week? The same thing. And guess what? I don't have a personal collection. I
loser.
This set's going to be fine. I think the set will be fine. I'm not worried about this set one iota. You have the chance to pull the most valuable Magic card that has ever been in a booster box. You have a chance for Liliana of the Veil. I don't know.
Let's check in on our Lily price, Josh. Standard non-foil is $34.
Yeah.
Your price was 18.
And yours was 44.
Mine was 44.
I'm screwed.
I'm much.
I mean, that's obvious.
Dude, I'll tell you what. If Liliana goes to $18,
if Liliana goes to 18,
it doesn't have to go to 18. It just has to go closer to 18 than it is to 44.
Listen, if it's in the mid 20s or below, this set has a problem.
What's that number? What's the average number there? What do we do? Average those two numbers?
It's 33, God. I think.
It can't be that close. 11. 18. I can't do math on the podcast.
It's 15. 26, right? 26. 18 plus 40.
Yeah. 26.
Yeah, 26. You're right.
Yeah. So you got $8 to go. That's $8 is a lot.
I also got 30 days, baby.
The set's going to be fine, in my opinion. I think you two
that
are
bet.
way overreacting.
Don't forget, George's bet is 90 days out. It's a $300 collector
At
box.
any point in the 90 days.
I'm
not. Here's how you know. I'm not worried.
Okay. Yeah. I'm
not worried at all.
There might be other reasons you're not worried. When you won't even notice that the booster box is gone when you lose the bet might be a reason not to be worried. Like that might play into this.
When he has to crack open a pallet, ship me one box, and it's the only box he's ever shipped of Dominaria collector boxes. He's like, why isn't my store buying it? Why isn't my 30-person store buying the 10 pallets of collector boxes?
I want him to be so disinterested. He sends you the pallet with a note on it to send back what you didn't win.
That's right. Return to sender.
I don't remember what the bet was, but send it back.
That's a great way to lose a whole pallet to me. Yeah, anyway, I know the title is Dominaria to 0K. I'm not saying it's not a good set. It's a great set. I think the textured foils are absolutely gorgeous. I'm waiting for Joda to drop a little bit more before I pick up mine for my commander deck.
You're getting so much more cardio than me these weeks as you just hop the party line each week on Dominaria United.
You're taking what I say and like exponentially increasing it. I never said that the set is tanking. I said it's not as good as we said it was.
The title is Dominaria United to 0K.
Yeah, because it's got to be clickbaity. Of course,
0K is zero, man.
We got to keep the listeners here.
That's what I'm here for, Louis. That's why I'm here. Okay. Also, the viewers are going nowhere. Thank you for tuning into my podcast.
Also, for the record, we all agree on the titles before we shoot the podcast.
Not accurate at all. Just so we're clear.
Of the time. Sometimes you not accurate in there a little bit.
I mean, I get the final say. But like, we all agree.
We all get a say. I just get the final say.
It's like parenting. Like my kids have an input, but like at the end of the day.
Listen, George, we have a completely other functional channel that we can jump to.
Throw it. Do it, baby. You two do it.
We're coming next week of Bone Zone.
May the zoo be with you. All right. Dominaria. That's it. Let's talk about
Warhammer. Great segment. I think it was really riveting content. Thank you all so much for staying with us. That was great.
That was good content.
I have a Warhammer experience.
That was awful.
Oh my gosh. Oh, no. You're just cranky today.
I'm in a good mood today. Cranky. I'm actually the only one of you. I'm not cranky at all. In a great mood today.
I'm not cranky at all.
I'm cranky today. In all fairness, I am completely cranky.
All right.
Today.
I want to talk about Warhammer. We're going to talk about the Warhammer decks before I want to talk about Warhammer because I hate you. Like doing a podcast with you is so hard.
Baby. I'm in.
Louis, you have to manage the talent. You have to manage the talent.
No, it's like it's so difficult. Okay, so I picked up I got a call from Warhammer last week, and I was not planning on ever carrying Warhammer. Stop it.
I'm enthralled.
But I got a call from Games Workshop, and I just was on the phone with the guy. He was a nice guy. I ended up deciding to carry Warhammer, and here is why. The deciding factor of Warhammer, why I decided to carry it, is because he told me on the phone that 60% of stores don't run events. I thought that was crazy. I thought that was so interesting. Because the reason I couldn't do it is because I didn't feel like I had the space to do Warhammer. And he was like, well, 60% of stores don't carry events. All right, here's a list of the things that Warhammer did. They called me 2 weeks ago. It was only a 1-page application to be a store. Way easier to hop in than any other game that I've ever started carrying. They sent me 3 products with $200 of MSRP as like a thank you for taking our call. They called me the day after the application went in. They called me 4 days before that to keep, before I finally hooked in. They give a $250 marketing budget for you to market your events and product that they will refund you for your next invoice. And then, like I said, only 60% of stores run events, which I thought was really interesting. And this is really cool. This is what I think other games should do. They have a magazine that's only available to purchase in store. And if you don't sell out, they buy back those magazines from you at cost. So it's something that brings people into your store because they want the magazine. They can only get it in the store. And it's free, essentially free for you to stock. I thought that was super cool.
Okay. So if you're out there and you're listening to the podcast and you want Louis to really just care about you and maybe make a whole segment on a podcast about you, first thing you do is you call Louis.
Got it. Got his number. I'm calling him right now. Want me to call him right now?
Then you send him free stuff. Then you make sure to call him back. Then more free stuff. Then you have to be in a small group, maybe an indie TCG, and make him feel special. And boom, you've got him.
George is calling me.
Step one,
hello? Oh, he picked up. Hi.
I declined. It's my voicemail.
It's voicemail. You got me. You got me. It was voicemail.
George gets hung up on so much he doesn't realize when a call's declined.
My point is that their onboarding process was
okay. All right. So Warhammer has the best onboarding program of anybody in the industry. This has been well known by everybody.
Is that well known? I had no clue.
That's very well known.
There you go. There you go, YouTube. Like now people can know about it. Like how we're supposed like it's amazing. And I think every single one of these games, every single one of the games that we ever talked about on the podcast should call Games Workshop and be like, hey, tell me everything you know about onboarding new stores. They should do that.
They should. And all jokes aside, the onboarding process, because you laid it out for me earlier this week, it sounded really cool. It sounded very involved. It sounded unlike most things that I've been, I've heard of. But what does that do from like a customer at your store perspective? Is it because you can market the product more? Is it because you're going to have these events be one of only 60%? Like, is that how it kind of puts you over the top?
I think what put me over the top was the idea that like they are working so hard to help with you. Like one of the things George and I always complain about is that reps push all this product on us that we don't want, that's impossible to sell, and you've got to buy that product to get the other product. Are you
saying I should not taking all that maelstrom from distribution? You can be honest with me.
Yes.
I was told that was going to be my retirement account.
For our audio listeners, this is the point in the podcast where I pick up the Commander Legends box.
But their sales reps don't work on commission. Like they work based on growth of a store. Like that's their goal. It's not based on commission. It's like taking your store and helping you grow. And like that's a huge difference in the industry. And so I just think they're doing some really, really cool things. And for me, the reason that I finally like hopped on was there was 2 customers that told me they want Warhammer. And then B, I really think that I don't understand why Magic is promoting Warhammer as like a big win for Magic. I personally think the bigger win in this Magic Warhammer crossover is Warhammer. Like, I think that more people are going to go from Magic to Warhammer than will come from Warhammer to Magic is my take. And so I think it's another cool product as people digest the Warhammer.
I know that after my Commander nights, I tell people I have a box of $500 unpainted minis that will take you 25 hours to put together. How many do you want? And they're like, I'll take them all. I'll take them all.
Yeah.
And so like that to me is exactly, they nailed their customer.
Yeah. They're not $500. They're $60
for like 4 figurines now. Their price, like you have
a starter set is $60.
You have no right to complain about the price of collector booster boxes and carry Warhammer.
So, I disagree with you, Louis, based on George's point. The accessibility. Magic's much easier to buy a product, sit down and play. Warhammer takes a lot more investment in time and money.
But there are so many more Magic players than there are Warhammer players.
I agree that there is likely
but that's part of accessibility. Yeah.
Gross number of Magic players that will maybe. I don't even know if that's true. I mean, like, I don't know who hasn't heard of Warhammer.
A lot of people
that play Magic.
Yeah,
I don't. You don't think that's so? True? No.
Really?
I'm sure there's some, but not a lot.
Sure there's some.
Okay, maybe not heard of, but like, who has played Warhammer?
Like, Louis, I think this will probably not. Hold on. I think the problem that Warhammer has is not the game. I played. This is how you know I was one of the cool kids. I played the living daylights out of Warhammer in undergrad. My favorite undergrad memories were sitting in the bottom of my frat house, a little drunk, playing Warhammer on Friday nights.
Yeah, Saturday nights. Makes sense to me.
I was cool. But like the problem is like I would never ever build and paint my own army. Ever. Which means I can never buy a box.
Yeah.
Like, the problem with Warhammer is what it takes to get to the game.
I mean, I agree. I also know people who like to do that. I also know people who like to do that and who have plenty of time to paint minifigures. Like I think your one experience. My point is that I think that it's a interesting time for a store to get into a thing like Warhammer if you care a lot of Magic. That's my point.
Okay, sit on Papa George's lap, stores. You will not. Don't do that. Yeah, it's a great lap. Sturdy.
It's not financial advice.
I'm sturdy like an oak. Do not take Warhammer because you're carrying the Warhammer 40K decks. Take Warhammer if you have a built-in demand for miniatures, or you have people who like tabletop games.
Sure.
Or, and I think this is the one you have to ask around, do you have a group of artists? Because that's what it takes to get into Warhammer. The hard part of Warhammer is not playing Warhammer. The hard part of Warhammer is building the army and painting the army.
You're hilarious. I am not an artist. I'm horrible at art. I have painted many figures and had a great time doing it. Like,
gross. So the other interesting thing that Warhammer does is you get a steady, there's a steady % profit on every product.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think that's great.
Right. All right, let's move on. We will evaluate this in what
are we evaluating?
We'll evaluate if it was a bad idea for me to take Warhammer. You'll be wrong or I'll be wrong. One of the two.
I'm not saying it's a good idea or a bad idea for you. I'm saying, like, people who won't be like, oh, I'm playing Commander. Damn, I want a $60 box of 2 minis that I have to put together and paint.
That's like, you are inherently wrong. You are saying the wrong information right now. I just looked at the order sheet. You can get large, like 20, 30 figure sets, starter sets for $60. Yes, like you're wrong. I just bought the product. Like, I know. You don't need to put your little fingers in front of the screen to hide your face of shame. I know.
Don't worry. That's not what's going on, baby. Don't worry.
I know.
I think you're going to have a bigger issue with accessibility, right? It's if you're a Warhammer player who wants to play the Warhammer Commander deck, you can go to your LGS and find a Commander pod. Like, that's going to happen, and with very little effort, you're going to sit down. If you're a Commander player that wants to get into Warhammer, the big fear with purchasing this $5 to $60 mystery product that we're talking about right now is, who am I going to play it with, and how am I going to be able to use it? Is it going to be something that I buy and that sits on my shelf forever? I think the accessibility and finding the play group. Now, the cool thing is, with Commander being a 4-person format, maybe you get the whole pod to commit to trying out Warhammer. Like, that seems like a bigger possibility to me than a one-off.
So our store is going to focus on the kill team side of things, which is like a small format. You don't have to have a $500 huge thing. It's a smaller format, and we're going to try doing that. Anyway, it'll be interesting to revisit this. I noticed that George isn't talking, which means that I must be right.
There was 27 figures in the starter, and they recommended starter kit for $100, which includes no paint and no glue.
Okay, so when you said $500 for 4 figures, or $60,
I did not say $500 for 4 figures. I said $60 for 4 figures.
and you said no paint.
That have $60 for 4 figures. Yeah. That does exist.
There's also starter sets for the individual factions that are $60 that have like. Okay.
I think those were. Oh, if there's hold on. This is important. Louis, call me before they do a Christmas kit. You want the Christmas kit?
Okay, can't wait. All right.
Or don't. I don't care.
Let's talk about the Warhammer decks, though. Because all this stuff just came out this week. Price point on Amazon is kind of depressing if you own a store.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Couldn't see this coming.
George, learned a lot about owning a store, and it's not good.
Yeah, it's just mostly depression. So there's
I love my life.
All 4 of the decks are out, which is kind of cool. There is a mono black deck. That's pretty sweet.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Necron, which are cool. Necrons were one of the.
Is there a Tyranid one?
I don't know. There's Astaris.
Wait, is it Tyranid?
Yeah, there's a Tyranid.
Yep.
The Swarm Lord.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yes.
I might learn Commander just so I can play that deck.
I'll believe it when I see it.
I loved that army when I was playing Warhammer.
Yeah.
Loved it. Loved it. Loved
May
it.
the EDH be with you. Stream when 3 of us playing Commander.
I am definitely going to buy.
You guys are
version.
invited anytime. Come on down. We will play Commander at my table. We can do a live Commander game.
Do you have a sweet camera setup?
I do. Yeah. Everyone can go watch the VOD from Sunday's stream. It was a lot of fun.
Is there a time that they can watch it live and they can participate in the chat?
Yeah, we don't know when the next one is yet, but there will be another live one.
Great plug.
Yeah.
Great.
I wasn't planning on plugging this, but
it was a great assist, George. You locked it up there, man. You did your best.
I'll call you every 4 days until you commit to a date, because that's how I heard you like to commit to things.
Yeah, call me every 4 days and send me free stuff. And then a human inquisitor deck as well. So
Don't
these
care.
are cool. People
all
are
in the tier in the deck.
I have
deck's gonna be great.
People are super excited about this. I've had a lot of people call me this week as the spoilers have come out. I think the key for these decks, because they are like at the store level, they're expensive. On Amazon, they're already like relatively close to the store pricing, to be honest. Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
A month ago, I slashed my order. 2 months ago, I slashed my pre-order with one of my distros, and he was like, "You're gonna really regret this." I don't think I am.
Yeah, I don't know. It depends on the supply for sure. It's crazy though. But people are definitely interested. I had more people reach out to me this week about them because of them being released. So people are excited about it. I have a lot of people who are like, they're splitting a set of 4 with another person, and they're going like 2 and 2, and they're going to like test them out and see if they want the other 2 then. That's been like a common theme at my store, at least.
People are more excited about the decks than I expected them to be.
Yeah. It's a good sign for Universes Beyond. Is this the first like LGS product for Universes Beyond? We've had Secret Layers. I guess
Does Ikoria count?
that was before the Universes Beyond announcement.
Technically before, but it was kind of in the same vein. I was thinking the same thing with the Midnight Hunt and the Dracula theme and stuff like that. Because that's not quite Universes Beyond, but it's adjacent.
Oh, they also had that fake Harry Potter set.
Strixhaven.
That was such a blatant, like, hey, you like Harry Potter?
So, but is this the first one that they've? I mean, it's on the packaging as Universes Beyond. It'll be interesting to see how they like want that to perform. They can
perform well.
Well, but like they can control what the prices are based on supply and that kind of stuff. So,
only one thing matters for stores: how many of the 1% decks did they print?
Yeah,
like if you want to see stores cry uncle, overprint that.
Yeah.
Oh man.
That will make Commander Legends, Louis' favorite set, look like a bump in the road compared to what we're gonna feel if I have to take a bunch of $400+ Commander decks that are unsellable.
Oh, you're going to be unsufferable on this podcast. Please don't let that happen.
Please don't let that happen.
Wizards, listen. Don't
Garfield, listen to me, baby. I know you're coming on next week.
Okay.
To talk about this.
Positive on that is that the collector's edition on Amazon right now is $560 for all 4 decks. So if it stays up there, we'll be okay.
What's the? Are you allowed to say what the store price is for the?
Can't say it.
We're not allowed to say, but it is not $556. There would be a decent.
So there's a markup there. There's an opportunity to make money, but the problem is you're only targeting a very small percentage of your Magic audience with that product.
I know nobody at my store who would pay $556 for 4 Precon Commander decks.
I mean, like. I don't know. I think those. I told my distro, I'm like, this is gonna be that's gonna be the wildest product I've ever bought. Like, you can 100% tell me the story where the decks were $1,000 in 3 weeks after release.
Yeah,
you can tell me the story. They're 40% below my cost in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, like that wouldn't shock me at all. At all.
Oh
I mean, like,
did they release Brothers War artwork?
There is a very small amount of demand for a $125 Commander deck.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, there's not a lot more demand at $100. Like, if the price starts going down on those 1% ones, it could completely crash.
It's especially because like the deck lists are on Magic Goldfish and they're at like 160 to 180 a deck. That's including all the 10, 15, 20, 30 cent cards. It's including land. I mean, it's like those prices have to be in the like 180 to 250 range after release, like after the singles tank. And a lot of stores will open up commander decks and sell the high value singles, which drives the price of singles down. Why are you looking at me like that? It's not true. Just because you don't do it.
I'm like very anxious about this.
Yeah.
I'm like, I know what I ordered.
Yeah. This would be definitely a wild thing to watch. I think the only thing it's got going for it is I do think they want that Universes Beyond thing to be a success. And if it tanks and has a negative connotation now, like the Baldur's Gate stuff, like the D&D stuff, it's just going to make Universes Beyond be...
Do we know if there's like the new commander decks have a sample pack for collector booster boxes? Is there anything like that in this? Do we know?
It doesn't say that.
I had never seen one of those, and a buddy of mine had a grand opening at his game store the other day. Shout out Dennis and Zach at their game store, and someone bought one of those and got one of the sample collector packs. It's like 2 cards, and one is it's like a foil uncommon and a rare in this sample collector booster pack. It was horrible.
It's dumb.
Yeah,
I love them. You guys are crazy.
It was so bad. I like them. As a consumer who kind of sits right on the fence here, like where I could justify like buying these decks. I have a great fear of buying this deck.
Yeah,
I'm
this
very
side
worried.
of the table.
I have always been very worried about this product. I remain very worried about this product. The good part is, after they get ripped off on the commander decks, they're going to want to learn Warhammer, and they can go to Louis store and learn Warhammer.
But I'm just saying from your guys, like, from the store perspective,
that's the good part.
You guys are always taking my points and making them like more than what I said. My point is that it's going to drive demand to people who play Magic the Gathering. The name is in front of Magic the Gathering people now way more. And if you're like, this seems like a good time to get into Warhammer if you're a store that has a lot of Magic people. That's my point.
I just think it's scary from all sides. It's not just you guys as a store. There are people that are going to buy this product and have instantaneous regret. And the bad thing is, if those are hardcore Warhammer fans, that are like, remember, the Universes Beyond is to get Magic in front of the faces of these other. Then these Warhammer fans buy this product and get burned. Oh, they ain't coming back.
I am much more worried about what this means for Lord of the Rings, to be honest.
Oh yeah,
I thought this deck would be a banger. I feared it wouldn't be after their D&D excursion, but I'm now more convinced than ever that like fake, Universes Beyond or fake Universes Beyond, there's not gonna be high power sets.
Maybe it's just riding the IP bandwagon.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think that is. I mean, they don't think they need to put in high power cards to move these because they have the Warhammer IP.
Yeah, they need to put in more like reprint equity into them. Like the most expensive card in the Ruinous Powers deck is there's one that's Blood for Blood God, which must be a new card. I don't remember that card. That one's like 14.
New cards are tough.
That's like $14, but the reprint equity one is Chromatic Lantern at $11, which is going to tank when it's in the set. You know what I mean? Like,
it's like Chromatic Lantern.
Yeah, it's going to be like a $5 card max after being printed in the set.
In the foily collector treatment, it'll be $5.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I mean,
and then the Tyrannoid deck. I'm kind of looking at it right now. There's like nothing even over $10, like $8, $9.
I mean, they don't think they need to put in high power cards because they have the IP, and
that's not how it works.
That's not how it works.
Mm-mm.
There could also be some value for a completely, and I've advocated this before, a balanced play experience with the 4 decks in their own ecosystem, because they are marketing to Warhammer people. It's more likely that a group of 4 friends buys the decks, and if the decks play well, maybe that's their hook. But it doesn't do much for existing Magic players.
So, like, I agree with you, but like, then the decks have to be like $30.
Yeah, not what they're currently priced at, and
not
the cost
for
of
Warhammer
distribution.
Customers, dude.
That's true. They pay $10 trillion for one half of an army
to paint minis.
This deck doesn't even come with paint or glue. It's fine.
Can
you imagine if they sell the decks and it's a bunch of stickers and blank Magic cards?
You didn't see that? You didn't see that tweet?
Yourself.
Somebody tweeted the Warhammer cards in black and white. And it's like the cool part of the collector deck is you get to paint the cards yourself.
People would love it.
Oh, that's great.
Great.
I'm very worried about this.
Yeah,
I'll be honest, this is one of those sets that like
This is
I should have like gone down further.
There's no bet here. Do you guys want me to take the terrible side of the bet like you guys always take? And like I'll say it's going to be worth like $150 and we can go for a bet and you guys can win one for once.
Super glad I'm your friend. Awesome. Thanks for this
I'm
experience.
not your friend. I don't really care. So I don't know, man.
Right.
This is scary.
Let's talk about something that makes you happy, George. Lorcana.
Oh.
Yes.
No.
There was a great expo, and Louis only saw toddlers apparently, even though kids weren't allowed in it. And the first day before anybody knew there were attendees involved, people were lining up for Lorcana. Second day beyond, attendee town. I get it. I get the line day 2 through 4, day 2 and 3. First day, people were lining up because they wanted the Magic TCG. I'm actually shocked the prices didn't go up higher, if I'm being honest, for the 6-card set and for the Mickey. The Mickey is hovering around 200, 250 right now for the Magic, for the Mickey card and the pin.
Mm-hmm. I'm pulling them up for people to see.
And the 6-card set is right under 2,000.
Yeah. The one I have up is 5,000, but it's like a buy it now thing on eBay.
The Mickey card is hovering around, and the pin is hovering around 200, and the 6-card set is hovering around 2,000.
The Mickey
way
pins,
less of the 6-card set.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think the Mickey card was at George. Was it 5,000?
I believe it was. I think it was more than that. I believe it was 5,000 a day, but there's been different rumors.
Yeah.
I'm not speculating on the price of the Mickey card.
The art looks awesome.
I will not be banned from Lorcana.
Did you guys see the foils?
Yes, they look amazing.
Yeah, they look really cool.
So let's talk about Lorcana. Then let's talk about what it means for other TCGs. I think it's actually very important. I'm blown away by the artwork. I'm more blown away. They, like in the conversations people had with the designers, they have a serious plan. They're not messing around. 4 sets a year, distributions all but lined up. They have OP kits ready to roll. They are gearing up to become a real TCG. They are not here to ride Mickey's coattails. They are making a TCG that has Disney IP. They're playing for keeps. They have a team of great designers. They're ready. Yeah, they're totally ready. And as a wise man on this podcast said, it won't be a kids game, and it's not going to be a kids game. It's going to be an accessible game, but it will not be meant for toddlers.
It won't be meant for toddlers. And initial reactions were when I saw the cards, and I think they were released via like the Lorcana social media team before they came out at the expo. It hit me as like, okay, they have a design team that took this seriously. This looks like a trading card that has some thought put behind it, right? My eyes as a TCG player are drawn to, the text box, the numbers, the power, toughness, and things on the card where my eyes should be drawn to a trading card. So there was nothing super off-putting. I liked all the colors. I liked all that. I still think they're in the market for, I'm not saying toddlers, but kids will be a part of this game.
It will be a part, but it will not be the focus. The focus is going to be adults.
I think you greatly underestimate the power of adults playing card games with their kids. I think you greatly underestimate that. And I think like that's going to be, in my mind, the largest consumer base for this product. I don't think it's going to be. I don't think it's going to be.
That wouldn't shock me.
Single 30-year-old males. I don't think that is the main target for this audience. I think the main target for this audience is the 30-year-old male who has a 8-year-old kid. Like that is not just like collecting and opening like Pokemon, but like actually playing, I think will be a really cool thing for this. So that's my take. And I think there's a huge market for that. And I think it's exciting.
I think there's a huge market. Yeah. I think this is like, I think they are onto something massive. I'm wondering, there's two things I want to know. If I know they're coming on next week to discuss the game with us, and we're very honored to have them next week.
That'd be awesome.
Everyone's coming on next week, apparently.
Garfield's gonna have to take a seat. Lorcana's coming up first. So I would love to know how they're working in collectability. I mean, like the Figment pins are going for $1,000 from the expo. The pins of Figment, which is amazing because Figment is my favorite Disney character. Imagine what a 1/1 gold Mickey we're going to go for in Lorcana.
I don't care about the attendees.
It'd be amazing. I care about the collectability. That would go for real money. That would give people an incentive to open boxes even after they have their set or their decks.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what these games need. These games need a reason to open boxes after they have their deck or their set.
Yes.
This is easy to build in to this IP.
Yeah. No, and I mean,
honestly, that's Genesis' problem, right? When you have your deck with Genesis, you're done. You don't open more boxes.
Right.
This, like the collectability of Lorcana is easy. It could be done instantaneously.
Well, and it has a massive collector base already built in Disney collectors. There are people who collect every Mickey Mouse, blah 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 blah. And like there's a massive collecting that won't even ever look to play the game. The question for me is not that, because I think that is going to happen. I think these boxes and things, pending that they don't like print it to absolute.
We're going to go over that because that's my one fear.
Yeah, pending that they don't print it to like absolute oblivion. I think boxes will always kind of have some value just in general for people just to open. But I think a card game needs to be more than that. It can't be tops packs. And one of the fears I have, I couldn't find, I was trying to pull it out. I couldn't find it, but there was a conversation of basically, I think it was the Captain Hook card that was the same exact mechanics.
Pirates of the Caribbean. You're doing
as was it? That's not even one of the 6 cards.
Oh! I thought you were talking about the one that came before that had the same design layout.
No, not the design layout. It had the same mechanic. And like we don't know anything about the gameplay currently. All we know is the card images that have been put out there. But if they didn't really make a newer, exciting game that it actually is fun to play, they just rehash some sort of old mechanic, and we don't know that that's what they did yet. But that's the argument that people are saying based on these 2 cards having the same name of the mechanic. Then like that's going to be a poor thing in my opinion. And
people will play Disney games because people love Disney. My bigger fear is what you started with. And I mean this. If they were to call me and say, George, how many boxes should we print for our first set? Do you have a dartboard? I have no clue how many boxes you should print for this first set. If you told me they printed 400,000, sold out instantly, and they went to the moon, I'd absolutely believe you. If you told me they printed 200,000 and there's still 100,000 left in distribution, they can't move, I'd absolutely believe you. I have no clue what the right number is of boxes. If I were them, what I would do, and this is a loss. This would require Ravensburger taking a loss at some point. I would release boxes 30,000 at a time until the market stabilizes. I would do 30,000 a month, every month until the market stabilizes.
Yeah.
And you just have to throw away 30,000 boxes at the back end. You're going to be stuck with 30,000 boxes. You got to donate them to charity.
Yeah.
What you cannot happen if you're Lorcana, you cannot have this first box come out and it crater. You can't do it. You can't do it.
I agree.
So like you're going to have to find a way to find this magic number that has stores happy and able and willing to sell your product at a stable price point.
Yeah.
And my only fear is that they're going to look at the pre-order numbers. Like I had 5 people reach out and say they wanted a pallet. That's not a good sign, by the way. That's not a good sign. That's not what you want to hear if you're Lorcana.
Wow.
Right.
But like what I'm going to put in a number that's going to be somewhere in the lines of, I don't know, 5,000 boxes, 10,000 boxes. And like, that's fine to some degree, but like, you need to understand that like what I really want is like 2,500 boxes. And I'm assuming I'm going to get allocated.
Right.
If you take the pre-order numbers and be like, I can print all those boxes, your boxes will be worthless.
Right.
So like they need to get the print run correct, and like I could be convinced they should do 50,000 a month.
People asking to pre-order right now, that many boxes are so ridiculously silly, it's unbelievable. Like we don't even know if there's going to be chase in this. Like we don't know that. Like we don't know if there's going to be like a.
We don't know if they're going to print the boxes.
Well, like we don't know anything about we don't know anything about the mechanics of this in terms of a collectible card game. What if there's no parallel foils? What if there's just a foil in every pack and each box what if it's Magic? A foil in every pack, each box has 6 foil rares and 1 foil majestic, and it's like that. There's not really a foil premium.
Lorcana will not do that to me.
Like I'm just saying, we don't know a single thing about that yet. So I think it's a little silly to hop in like that.
So I agree. I wouldn't do it. But here's what I think that tells me is people have a lot of confidence in this product. Like I will reiterate, I don't think it's a good sign for Lorcana that I had whales reaching out to me asking to buy a pallet for them. Like I don't think that's a good sign.
Does Ravenburgers, Roethlisberger, do they even have any like understanding of a collectible TCG? We have no sign that they really,
a lot of the team came from Magic.
They came from Magic, right? Who
you came from the largest TCG.
Who has
a lot of teams have come from Magic though.
Yeah,
like we've seen a lot of marketing where the lead of our collectability team it came from Magic, but it hasn't panned out, right?
This is the same thing as a new TCG being like, we have a Magic the Gathering artist. Yay! If you want a Magic the Gathering artist, just go play Magic the Gathering. If that's your sales pitch for what's so good about it. Like I just think people need to calm down a little bit on the speccing on this stuff.
So you could tell me a story where and this is a story far down the road where this TCG, the Lorcana TCG, leads to more Magic players being in existence. It's something kids 100%. Grow up playing with their parents, playing around the kitchen table, and then as they get older and stuff, and they go off to college, they find there will be a Magic community wherever they go, and now they've gatewayed into TCGs, and it's like the catch-all. Magic's done this job of creating this catch-all. We're like, hey, go ahead and make new TCGs, and we will just catch your players eventually.
I think that's a very likely story. I think there's another story that like this does eat into Magic.
I was just going to say there's not going to be a single person who quits playing Magic the Gathering to go to play Lorcana.
George is now going to play a game of Magic the Gathering so he can declare that he quits.
I played Magic before either of you bozos ever played a game of Magic.
You played Magic before I was alive.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Magic didn't come out until I was like 3. But like, I don't know, man. Like, this is not going to replace Magic in people's lives.
It's not going to.
Like,
It'll be another thing. It'll be different. That won't mean it's not successful. At least on release, right? 10 years from now, if the game's around in 10 years, then everything's great.
I think that this game has
nothing. Now I'm angry. I was the only one of the 3 of us in a good mood, and Josh has ruined it.
I do hate that line.
Me too.
I do agree. I do agree with you, George, that this game, if it's successful in a year, if it makes it through its like launch, this game is infinitely competing with every other game other than Pokemon and Magic.
So let's go. You're wrong about the last part. That's okay. So let's go.
Well, let's go into it then. Argue me. Why does this hurt Pokemon sales?
Because Pokemon's an easy one. Because Pokemon is largely a collector base. Is not heavily focused on players. There's far more collectors than there are players. And they have a very hold on, boo boo. And they have a very similar age bracket as Disney. You can absolutely tell me a story where a kid says, "Oh no, I don't want the Pikachu pack. I want the Mickey pack."
Yep, my daughter every day my daughter opens a Pokemon or MetaZoo pack. One day she'll be like, Daddy, I like MetaZoo better, and she wants the MetaZoo pack. The next day she's like, Daddy, I like Pokemon better, and she opens a Pokemon pack. Like, there's no rhyme or reason for it. It doesn't hurt Pokemon, it doesn't hurt MetaZoo. Like, I don't
if you're buying that instead of the other, it hurts them.
Well,
like, it's definitional.
For me, it's different. There's just packs
When you're a
everywhere.
baller and you got them all already. It doesn't matter. He's caught them all.
Boxes of unsold MetaZoo and unsold Pokemon everywhere. There's it's a little different for me. But my point being that you love an IP, and just because another IP, this will bring way more people into the trading card game world than
I think that's true.
Then it will take people away from these games. And in turn, as more people go to the LGS to buy Lorcana, like, oh, I've always thought about looking at Pokemon. Maybe I'll hop into Pokemon. Maybe I'll hop into Magic.
Let me be also clear here. My biggest fear for this game from an LGS perspective, they're going to call up Papa Bezos and be like, hey, buddy, I want the Magic deal.
What are we
Papa Bezos will be like, no problem, boss.
And from Amazon's perspective, this almost, like, on paper looks better than the Magic the Gathering deal.
Absolutely.
Because it's Disney. Because it's freaking Disney. And they're going to look at that and be like, oh, yes, sign it. We could get off. We get Disney stuff to sell at this cheap of a rate. Sign me up.
Yeah. That's what scares me as an LGS. Okay, so let me go into new TCGs for a minute.
We got to do our LGS's dying video at some point.
Okay, this is a serious one. If you're in, I don't care about your LGSs. If
I don't
you're
have
a
an
new
LGS.
Mother of Christ. If you're a new TCG, you have about 6 to 9 months to get your house in order. Lorcana will be in more LGSs than every new TCG combined on release week. I would all but guarantee that. I can't imagine more than a very small handful of stores that I can probably name that carry new TCGs that won't carry Lorcana. They are coming for you. You need to build and solidify your player base. You need to make sure that your players are happy, and you need to figure out what you can do to keep your players, because Lorcana is coming for you. You need to solidify your players right now. You have 6 to 9 months.
Yeah.
If you don't have a great player base in 6 to 9 months, you're in deep trouble. You're in deep trouble. You're in deep trouble.
Yes.
Everybody will have a choice between your game or the new Disney game.
I agree. I still don't think we know enough about it to really say that. I think if things go the way that we think they are on this podcast, I think that's fair. But, like, there's a whole nother way where this comes out, and it's like if Disney came out and they're like, hey, we're going to put together a game that has cards, and it's just like a board game, we wouldn't be all about that. Like, the conversation,
but we know it's not going to be that,
right? But we don't know what the actual mechanics in the gameplay are. We don't know what the collectability looks like. We don't know so many things.
Wait, boo boo. We have said several times on this podcast, you have said several times, the least important part of a new TCG is the playability. That is the worst indicator of if a game will find product market fit.
I agree.
That means something else matters way more than playability for success of a TCG.
Right. I agree. And what I just said is we don't know anything about the collectability either. We don't know what the box looks like. We don't know what the cards in the box look like.
It could just ship with a pack, and each pack contains one card, and that card is absolutely worthless.
I think George's big point here, Louis, is that it's going to get more of a shot. There's this 3-year plan, right? And even if it fails right away, there's time to make this correction. Sorry, is it 4 years?
4 sets a year.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's big. That is big. That part
is TCG.
Huge.
I'm not
chances.
I'm not poo-pooing it. I'm just saying we don't know enough information yet that I think that every single TCG is dead next week.
I don't think they're dead. Which is not why I said that. I said they have to get their house in order.
Yeah, I think more than the player base, I think I would go with the collector base. If you start seeing like high chase rarity in this and whatnot streams, everyone all they want is Lorcana, and the chase is there, and there's really cool alt arts and that kind of stuff. That's when I start thinking you're going to dip in, especially in the new TCGs, even into Pokemon. Without that, though, and what we don't know is, does that exist or not? I just think that this is going to be a different conversation.
I think it must, because they came out right away in the announcement and said, we're not focused on, a competitive gameplay experience. And I don't think, because this has been entrusted with a company that's built TCGs before, they know they have to have something.
Built board games before.
Oh, sorry. Oh, I mean, that's a big difference. I thought they had built TCGs before.
What TCG did they build before? Am I wrong on this? I think they just have done board games. They've been in charge of.
They've also done card games, but board.
Okay, yeah,
not this is where I'm talking about. Like, have they been watching MetaZoo? Have they been
watching MetaZoo be with you?
Have they been watching our channel? Like, have they been really? Me and Josh's channels. Yeah, have they our channel? I missed the S. Yeah, George doesn't have a channel. Have they been looking at these new TCGs and following all the gameplay stuff? Have they been evaluating the ups and downs of 2020, 21 with Flesh and Blood and with all these games? Have they been looking at this stuff, or have they just been like, oh, we got the Disney contract, let's throw it at it, can't go wrong?
They're doing OP kits right away. They have four sets a year planned. I don't know what else we could possibly want from them to show us that they're taking it seriously.
It does check a lot of our TCG success boxes.
I don't know what else we want from them, I guess.
I'm all in on it. I'm just not putting my money where my mouth is until I see more.
I am putting my money where my mouth is. I will guarantee you I'll be buying a metric ton. And I'll also guarantee you this. So will Louis.
Yeah, I'll buy a bunch of it. As long as they put a roadmap together that makes sense, I'll buy a bunch of it.
So let's say pre-orders open tomorrow. You know as much information today as you know now. You're not buying any?
I'm not putting a pre-order in that early.
I will. Okay, I'll have yours.
There you go.
Of course. I think it's silly. I'll make sure my pre-order's in before the window closes, but I'm not going to.
Let's say the window closes. Let's say the window closes next week. So you have as much information as you're going to have.
If that's the way that they're going to run their company, then probably not.
You're not going to pre-order?
I'll pre-order, but I'm not going to put in for like a billion boxes.
I'm going to put in for thousands of boxes.
It's definitely more of a gamble, but you're gambling. You have a bigger backbone for your gamble. You have a proven company and a good IP.
If they put out hey, this is what the boxes are going to look like, this is what things are, and it makes sense, then I'm all in. But they haven't done that yet.
Okay, that's also not the way any other game does pre-orders, just so we're clear.
Yes, it is. Every other game, you know what you're pre-ordering, George.
That's not true.
What game is that false for?
You don't know a single card in any Magic set before the window cuts off.
I know that it's a Magic set and that what Magic boxes look like.
You know it's a Lorcana box.
No,
that's easy.
I know based on history what kind of comes in a collector box, what kind of comes in a draft box. I know there's going to be 36 packs in a draft box. I know there's going to be 24 in a set box. I know there's going to be 12.
First of all, there's 30 in a set box. You're doing great, but continue.
Not for some of the sets. Not for Baldur's Gate.
Not for non-standard sets.
Yeah. Anyway, but my point is we don't know what a box looks like right now. We have no clue what their foils are going to, what multiplier they're going to be. We have no idea on that, some of the stuff. So, I don't know.
Yeah. I think we all agree with you. It just seems like some of the things you're proposing would be a little outside of the realm of what we think would be responsible. You can't tell me the story where they print a box that's got it's the booster box has got 12 packs, right? Or it's got 10 packs and it's $100. And you can't tell me that story where this game does it.
You can tell me a story though where a booster box they only have one box where it's a foil in every pack. There's no true rarity. There's no true foil. No true collection, and that is where I am out on this. If there's not some form of chase cards and premium for foils and that kind of thing, I don't see why this is a major competitor to the collectability side of these other new games. Gameplay wise, I think for sure. What?
Metazoo has foil or not foil. Genesis has foil or not foil.
Yep.
Legions has foil or not foil. Happy anniversary, by the way.
Happy birthday, Legions.
On your anniversary, Legions.
Happy birthday to Legions today, everyone.
What other games are there? Like every game I can think of has foil or not foil. That's it.
Yep. What's your point here? There is
if their whole thing is we're gonna have foil or not foil, and that's it. That's fine.
My point is that you need a reason for this to be like on Whatnot. You don't see Genesis on Whatnot. You don't see Legions on.
You see Metazoo on Whatnot. You see
Metazoo on Whatnot because Metazoo want to pull the 1 in 100 big chase card.
No, that's not why they're not.
You're right. They want $4 holo foils. That's what they want. That's what people are there to watch on Whatnot.
They start off high. It's like every other box. It goes up and it goes down after release.
My point is there has to be a built-in ecosystem for collectability in this in order for it to be successful. That's my point. And until they show that, I don't understand the absolute insanity of the hype. That's what I'm going to say. Because they could print 30 million boxes of this, have every card's worth $1.50 or less. Like they could do that. Like we don't know enough. And my point is until we know enough, I'm not throwing my bags in.
So, like, how do you kickstart games? You kickstart games and you know nothing about them. You know less than nothing about them.
That's not true. Every game that I've kickstarted, I have
more
had
about the roadmap for this game than almost any other game you've kickstarted.
Your revisionist history is amazing. Every game that I have kickstarted, I have had the creator on my channel, done an interview with them, put it out for everybody to see and talked about their game and asked them questions. And then after a month, kickstarted it. That's what I've done. Every single one of them.
So you want Lorcana to come on, then you're going to be in.
Yeah, 100%.
I would like that. I'd be
okay. Great, that follows. Never mind.
If I like the answers to their question.
I mean, like
there's also some games.
What did Nostalgic tell? What did Nostalgic tell you before you kickstarted them? That caused you to buy that one. But it's like, but Lorcana, I don't know.
I did not kickstart Nostalgics as a store. I didn't.
Did you kickstart anything as a store?
Every game that I have had the person on my channel, in fact, George, I have interviewed with creators and then not posted the video because I didn't like their game. And then I didn't kickstart their game.
Name and shame, baby. Who was it? Name and shame.
No, my point is.
Wow. How did I not know this? Will you DM me the names later?
No, I'm not telling you that because you'll use it against me in some bullcrap podcast like this. So the point is, I bought Nostalgics as tendies for myself. That's what
how'd that go?
I got 4 boxes and they're worth like $100 each. I got 4 boxes. Yeah, what I mean, but every other TCG that I've backed, I've gone like for Sorcery. I have 2 store tiers. For Genesis, I had a store tier plus 20 boxes.
So let's go through that. What did Sorcery and Genesis tell you? Let's use Sorcery because they haven't produced a box. They've never produced a box just like Lorcana has. What did they tell you in their Kickstarter?
They've never produced a box.
Neither has Lorcana. What did they tell you to get you to go in at the store level? So Lorcana did not tell you.
So I played the game and I had an enjoyable experience playing. Even their test deck stuff, I had me and Robbie sat down and played. We had an enjoyable experience playing the game. B, I interviewed the creator and there was a knowledge of industry. There was a knowledge of the TCG industry. That he is one of the #1 collectors of Alpha Magic the Gathering cards in the world. Has one of the largest Alpha Magic the Gathering collections in the world. True. Okay.
So he's a whale.
Hold on. Will you let me answer one question that you've ever asked on this podcast without
he's a
gaslighting?
Whale. Continue.
No, but the point is he I don't even know what that phrase means. I heard it on the news once. I don't watch the news. Anyway, I
like how you just gaslit yourself, by the way. Continue, Louis.
He cares about collectability. He has the experience in creating a team and working on things and fulfilling deadlines and fulfilling the whole, like, working on producing a end product that consumers have to like, and then they give feedback for, and he corrects and he fixes. He worked on one of the number one RPG internet things, I don't know, Path to Exile, I don't know where it ranks on everything, but huge in the is that an MMORPG like RuneScape was? It's a major thing with a lot of player base, is the point, where people are filling.
I've seen ads on YouTube.
Yeah. Like there's experience there. There's like drive and experience there.
And you think that experience is more than the experience for the team on Lorcana? I
never said that.
Well, so like I'm back to being confused.
I don't know anything about the team for Lorcana, other than that they have made some board games. I don't know what, like, he when I interviewed him, he talked about putting real collectability into the boxes. About foils weren't going to be in every pack; they were going to be in every 4 or 6 packs. I don't remember exactly.
I want to talk about because they were very nice to me this week. But here's my point to you: Ravensburger is the company, but Lorcana is a part of that. They have a team for this, and that team comes from the TCG space.
Okay.
That team has helped produce TCGs before.
Okay.
If the argument is that the Sorcery or Genesis team, even for that matter, we trust them because they've made a product, not a TCG before. Obviously, Genesis has, but for Sorcery, they haven't. Like, I guess I don't understand, like, why we'd be more skeptical of Lorcana than the other Kickstarters.
Because I think people underestimate how hard it is for a new TCG to get a massive player base and a massive group of people. You can't just have a team that worked for Magic and then they go and produce 150, 200,000 boxes of their first set, 400, whatever it is, because they have to make up the profit or the cost of being Disney, and they don't know the right answers for the market.
Right, but like, why did you trust the Sorcery team to do that, but you don't trust the Lorcana team? That's my question.
Because Sorcery's not doing that. They're not competing with the mass, like, Disney, like, overhead. They're not competing with any. They don't have to print a quadrillion boxes to cover the cost of being Disney and paying the Disney artists and using the Disney IP. It's completely different. Sorcery was kickstarting X number of boxes equal to the demand of Kickstarter.
So I want to
have no clue what Lorcana is doing. That is my point.
Don't know the contract. I suspect it might be that they get a cut of the boxes.
Okay.
So, like, they might not have any overhead from Disney to worry about. We don't know that.
Okay.
So, like that might be a bad assumption where you're making. I guess I don't understand why we would trust people, like Kickstarter people, and not the Lorcana team. Like, I just don't get it. I'll be honest.
You are saying that I don't trust them. I'm saying that I want more information before I say I'm all in. Like, I want to see. You're saying, would you blindly throw all of your money at this product of which you know nothing at? And I'm saying, no, I don't do that, and I'm not doing that.
So Lorcana deserves a little bit of leeway and benefit of the doubt here, because we did praise them. When we made the Lorcana announcement on the podcast, we praised them for the fact that Disney wasn't handling the creation of the TCG themselves. They were outsourcing it to a company, which at the time we claimed was a smart move because that company had a better feel for that space. Instead of Disney just trying to slap Mickey in your card and throw it in a booster pack, right? You've got someone behind that has a little expertise in the space. So we have given them props before. So I think, Louis, it would be fair if we said, like, we're going to stick by that. We trust that because they consign this company, so they understand collectability. They understand what the box needs to look like. I think it's fair to say the basic understanding of that. The problem is after the first set release, because I think the first set release of this game is going to be bonkers, no matter what. What you're talking about is the disaster box versus what George wants as the glory box. I don't think it matters. I think the first set is going to be ridiculous. I want to see there's 3 years and 4 sets a year. Is the team capable of adapting and moving and changing to fit what the community declares that it wants? Right after that hype dies and you've built some hardcore fans and you need to create that front door and bring more people into your game, does the team have what it takes? Because this game's going to get a shot, unlike any game you've compared it to, either of you. You've compared it to these other games that will never have the shot. that this game has.
I agree.
So it's more important that we have more ways to bring people in. So while I think it's fair to criticize, I don't want to throw my bags, we don't know what it is. This game gets some benefit of the doubt, and that's just what you get with money, right? You're the college kid that came in, but your dad paid for the football field. So you get a benefit of the doubt there, right? you kind of get a little more leeway than everyone else just trying to make it from nothing.
Yeah, no, like I agree. Like, again, I'm just saying we don't know that this doesn't turn into it's a TCG, but it's really more like a board game market. That's what I'm saying.
What board game do you know has 4 sets a year? Do you know one?
Ooh, is Smash Up considered a board game? That game is so much fun.
What board game has
Terraforming Mars probably puts out a expansion 3 times a year.
Okay.
Boom! Terraforming Mars.
Do you know if it has no P kit?
No, like again, I like all those things. Again, I'm not poo-pooing Lorcana. I'm just saying I want to see. I don't feel like it's that bad of a thing.
I'll leave it up to the viewers to decide. I don't need to say anymore. Viewers can decide where we each stand on the issue. I think that's fine.
I tried to bring some happiness to this podcast. You guys are bound and determined to fight with each
that
other.
bad of a thing to say? I want more information before I sign a check for 25 grand for a board that might never sell. Like, not all of us have 25 grand we can just throw on the side of the road, George. Like,
I agree. I support your take fully.
And now it does matter because I get to say that I was on board the whole time when this was a smashing success, and I get to be like, "You were a doubter." I'm gonna lean into this. Yeah. You were a doubter.
Josh, the one who doesn't have to pre-order anything, gets to be
like, listen. Just because I'm not rich business owners like you guys doesn't mean my opinion doesn't count.
Get it. He always puts you down for that, Josh. Get him.
Oh, George. Okay, hold on. The king doesn't get to tell the people. Okay.
All right.
Okay, hold on. Before we go, we're going to move on in a second. But I do, now that we've mentioned sorcery, I want to give them 2 shout outs. They sent me a very nice email saying that they did not ban me, for anybody who asked. They said that they appreciated my feedback and that we're going to have a fuller discussion to kind of assuage my fears in the coming weeks. And they sent me a very nice email. Really a classy act from them, if I'm being honest. Like, that was nice of them. That was the least. That was actually not the most impressive thing to me this week from them, though. They came onto Bozo's Commander stream.
Oh, me. I'm Bozo.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Everybody knew that, Louis. Everybody knew that.
You don't know. You call everybody Bozo.
I was like,
I assume you call your wife Bozo. I don't want us to be there for that.
So I want to live to see Lorcana. And we had a good chat during your amazing Commander stream, which will be aired at some point in the future.
Yes.
Maybe Sunday. And
will not be Sunday.
It will not be Sunday. No. And like I said, I asked them if they're going to do deck sleeves, because I do think they have really good art. Sorcery has maybe the best art of any TCG on the market today. Is that fair?
Yeah, I mean, it's contradictory to what you said literally last week's podcast.
Well, no, I said it's between them and Metazoo.
But if you want to flip flop, you can play the flip flop game too.
It's different styles.
Listen,
I think it's between those two. I think it's between Metazoo and sorcery. It's different styles. But anywho, hold on, Boo-Boo.
I think playing the what TCG has the best art in the TCG space game is one of the dumbest ways to get everybody mad at you.
I don't care.
Crazy,
Louis,
bro.
I know this is going to shock you. I could not care less if people are mad at me.
I think that sorcery has the greatest hand-drawn art in any TCG.
That's great. So I asked them if they were going to do deck sleeves, and they said no, not yet, because they couldn't find a partner that they thought could provide the quality that they wanted.
Bingo.
I liked that answer. Yep. That was a good answer.
Yep.
Because they can find somebody in China to print sleeves tomorrow for about 15 cents.
Yeah.
Mark it up to $25,000 and get 2 miniatures and a pack of sleeves.
Yep.
Some glue.
But they're not doing that. And I deserve credit for that. I think that answer alone gave me more confidence in the product.
We play tested.
Still not all in.
I play tested this week. Had a lot of fun. New rulebook, super cool. Listen, George, last week you yelled at me for adding sorcery in before the podcast and surprising you. And here you are. Sorcery is not part of the chamber of our.
Louis, you got to keep the viewers on their toes, baby. They if they've heard you yell at me now, like you got to give them something that they like. You've been so mean.
Don't be all sensitive now.
Yeah.
George, Louis kind of gets a win here, though. Unfortunately.
What's that?
Because during the sorcery argument, Louis' big point that he was leaning on was, after talking to the team, I know that this is going to be a quality product. He said how they don't have any cards is because they're not going to release something that they don't believe in and isn't quality. And now you've kind of had a taste of that experience.
I've had a taste. We have not seen a box yet.
But you know
that's the point of the game.
But you know the team is determined to make quality products.
Gosh,
you know that is a
can
focus
somebody wake me up when somebody comes up with a
it.
better argument that we haven't seen
that they haven't produced anything yet?
Oh, I mean, okay, hold on, Louis. Don't make me do the
listen.
It's scary that you haven't seen a box still. It can still be scary.
If sorcery doesn't produce a box,
that's bad.
If they do not produce a box, I will eat anything in my background. You choose it, whatever you see. Choose it. I'll eat it. I'll eat the whole damn thing. Like, if they don't produce a box,
dough back there?
No, there's no cookie dough back there. I will eat whatever you guys pick. Let's give it 18 months. If they don't produce a box,
hold on. This is due in November. Why are we giving them 18 months?
Because what George is insinuating by they've never produced a box is that they won't produce a box. I have been very clear. I am
insinuating that they might not produce a box to the quality that they or the consumer are happy with.
They will not do that.
I don't think they will do that. I think there's a metric for
Promise
failure that's somewhere between now and 18 months. I think in 10 months, if we don't see a box from now,
Louis, if they don't produce a box in the next 30 years, we'll restart this podcast. In 30 years, I'll be dead. And we will discuss what happened.
So will Louis have choked on the thing he ate from his shovel.
I personally, I have said this before.
Louis,
I'm still waiting on Kickstarters from 2.5 years ago, baby.
But not a bad Kickstarters. Those are bad. That's bad.
Kickstarter deadlines mean nothing to me. They mean nothing to me. You're
so scorned.
When I back a Kickstarter,
my positive sorcery segment into negative. This is on you. This is on you.
When I back a Kickstarter, I don't even look at the date. I don't even look at when it's coming out.
That follows.
I also like that you fought when I was trying to give you a win.
That's welcome to Louis. Welcome to Louis. Stop gaslighting him. Welcome to Louis. So
stop gaslighting him. He gaslights himself.
I don't know what that means either. I don't know what it means either.
I'm sure somebody will leave it in the comment section. Thank you, person who's smarter than all three of us.
Great.
Why do you watch us?
Are we doing the pricing? Or are we doing that next week again?
No, we're doing it next week because you can't stay on track. You wrung my neck about Lorcana for so long and made me defend every side of every ounce of my position, and so now we have no time to talk about how these. So
this will be our running segment every week where we'll discuss prices next week. Maybe James Garfield and the Lorcana team can come on and discuss it with us next week.
Everyone, the Price is Right. The Price is Right was the name of the segment. That cannot be lost to the viewers because I'm so proud of the name of it. That segment name is so good. It's an hour and 22 minutes. Just go for it. Who cares? If people are still here, they'll watch.
I also love that we do these segments in the beginning of the podcast. They're never correct. We never get to all of them, and we never stay on topic.
Welcome to May the Zoo Be With You. That's why it's called May the Zoo Be With You. It's a zoo. And we are
and also with you. Oh, we're not done? Oh,
okay. We'll talk about that sometime.
Next week with Lorcana.
All right, George, tell us all about your Genesis deck tech because you're a resident professional Genesis player who has never played a game of Genesis in their life.
That will change on Saturday when I play my competition at Compete Sport. If you're listening to this and you're in the Southeast, come to Compete Sport on Saturday.
When you play in your first Genesis game ever in the
That's not true.
Genesis
That's not true.
circuit.
That's not true. Just so we're all clear.
George texted me today.
Oh, don't leak the DMs. Don't leak the DMs. Oh, no. Oh, no.
No, I want to hear about your deck tech.
So the circuit in Germany was this past week, as you all know.
Yeah.
You can tell, right? You can tell they know by their faces. By the way, you can tell how much they do.
I heard Assad was there in Germany,
and
that's just my face.
And the Tiger deck won, which caught everybody off guard.
Mm.
And
what were the mechanics of the Tiger? What was the goal of it?
The Tiger, it goes forward 2 steps and it attacks you, then goes back.
Gotcha.
That might not be true. Let me be very clear here. That could be completely wrong. I have no clue. This is the deck you come to George for. Are you pulling up the Tiger deck card? So help me God.
Not what Genesis deck is easiest to learn in 2 days while I'm stressed to the tilt. That's the text. I was debating if I was going to say it or not, but I'm going with it, baby. What Genesis deck is the easiest to learn in 2 days while I'm stressed to the tilt?
That's true.
Is that the name of the deck?
No, that's what.
No, that's the name of my deck that I'm playing in 2 days after I learn the game tonight. So
it's 11:30.
So okay, so the Tiger deck won. It was caught everybody off guard. Now here's what's interesting about that. That card is where, Louis? What box has that card? I know you know this.
In the pre-hunt? You talking about
closed?
The Tiger? I don't know.
Yeah, it's in Galera 1, not Galera 2. Interesting. So there's very few of these cards. This has caused the price to do what prices do, but Assad has the pack recycling program.
Oh yeah,
where you can turn in the packs from your box and recycle them.
Is this why everyone's all of a sudden texting me or messaging me on Discord? Hey, can I send you my packs?
Yes, that is exactly why.
I was wondering why that was.
Well, you could have called me. I could have told you because I know more about Genesis.
I talk to you every day. You never tell me anything worthwhile.
I only talked about Lorcana, and you keep fudding it up. And so you can turn in your packs to get the Tiger card you need. And by the way, the fact that he did not call his deck the Tiger King deck is maybe the worst thing that's ever happened in this civilization. I'm just saying.
Cool. That's cool that it's part of the pack recycling program. Assad's ability to put cards in the market that are highly playable and needed for gameplay is fantastic. It's also like Genesis kind of needs like a $540 card. You know what I mean? Like they kind of need that.
Preach.
Like, they kind of need that. So it's funny, but I get it. That's his model. That's what he wants. And he's sticking to it.
Assad's coming in. He knows this. We're having a little heart to heart. They need to find a way to get people to want to open boxes after they have their deck. They have to.
He's sticking to his guns, though. I mean,
those are bad guns to stick to.
We'll see what happens. But I mean, it's interesting. It's super interesting. That's cool. So, how many
that's the Tiger deck.
How many are you expecting at your event on Saturday?
200. No. If so,
you'd be disappointed.
A lot of you have showed up unexpectedly after hearing this podcast. I'd be happy with probably 30 to 40, maybe 20 to 30.
That's cool.
Awesome. And if you're the person that goes to his event and you build a control deck to control the Tiger deck and really lock it down and call it the Carol Baskins deck.
That's my deck. That's my deck in Genesis.
We have we have graduation on Friday, which is to mess up my numbers because like half my players aren't going to be there because they're graduating on Friday.
My deck's full of Death's Companions. This one's assigned by Assad. Love it. And mine's like a control-y.
Is that a deck easy to learn? In 2 days while you're stressed to tilt?
You need 10 Death's Companions, which you will not be able to get by Saturday.
I have somebody from the best podcast, the Bone Zone, bringing me a deck.
That's cool.
I learned that was a podcast today.
How dare you? It's the best podcast.
Well, have fun. That's great. I wish you all the well at your event. You will lose every game. We all know that.
What? When I win this event, you guys are going to have some crow to eat.
Sure. Cryptic printed their boxes. They've got all they posted. Oh, sorry. This was George's big Scoopy scoop. George called me.
Tanner screwed me again.
George called me today. He's like, oh my gosh, you're not going to believe the Scoopy I have. I was like, Tanner. Oh yeah? He's like, yeah. And then like 10 minutes later, I'm like scrolling through my phone on Facebook, which is what I do when George and I talk. Sure. And I see Tanner posted a picture of all the uncut sheets. And then all the cut cards, and like they're cut and ready. They're being boxed up.
Those are from Kickstarter, right?
Yeah, from the Kickstarter.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I said, "Oh, George, is your Scoopy that the boxes are printed and cards are cut?"
Can't believe Tanner did this to me.
He's like, "Yeah, how'd you know?" I was like, "Well, he posted on Facebook."
Your Scoopies come from very popular social media feeds.
Yeah, it's great.
Tanner
Your Scoopies have gotten
that's a Scoopy. That's a Scoopy. Tanner screwed me.
Again, I think this is awesome. Right. Tanner's on it.
So it looks like they're going to ship either on time or a little bit early. Yeah. Oh, hold on. Let's go back to Genesis. Everything is now shipped for Genesis, it looks like. Everything but the T-shirts are now shipped. Good job, Assad, getting them done. Yeah. All right. So it looks like Genesis. It looks like Cryptic Genesis. Okay. I hate that, by the way.
Tanner picked the wrong name.
Yeah. It looks like Cryptic is either going to ship on time a little bit early, which is good. I know Louis doesn't care if he doesn't come out for another 24 months.
It's not early. It's still delayed, but it's on their new schedule.
I don't think that's true for the boxing. It's only true for the decks.
Okay.
I know Louis doesn't care if it comes out for 24 months or not, but apparently Tanner does. And the cards look great. The cards look really good. The card backs look good. It looks like they were printed pretty well. We haven't felt them yet, obviously, but I'm sure we will soon.
It'll be interesting to see if they feel like the test deck cards, because that card stock is different from other games that are at a similar printer, the same printer.
I'm going to ask him, and that'll be my Scoopy for next week. Tanner, if you post it publicly, you're dead to me. Continue.
It'll be interesting to see the overall feel of them. We've had some conversations on feel of cards and foil curling of cards.
I'm not worried about that with Tanner.
Oh, man.
What?
I've got some potato chips sitting on my desk, and you said the foiling curling of cards, and these cards are just...
What are they?
The corners are almost touching.
Dominaria. These are Dominaria foils. They're holding up pretty well. And you guys
know
my basement is quite moist. So
your base moist?
My base moist.
Yes, the base moist. That's a word.
Is the most disgusting word in the vocab in the English language.
Try saying my basement is moist like 5 times.
My basement is moist. 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 My basement is moist.
The title. All right. That's pretty good. I'm impressed. I'm impressed.
I'm glad you changed out your title. I'm glad you changed out your title.
Title of this episode.
That's absolutely the title. That's absolutely the title. My basement is moist. A Lorcana podcast.
I hate the algorithm. I hate the algorithm.
And apparently it hates you too, so it's equal.
Yeah,
me too, dude.
So Cryptic looks like it's doing what it needs to do, which is good.
Yeah. Super cool. I cannot wait to get boxes in hand. I've got a bunch of people reaching out to me who missed the Kickstarter. I will have boxes available to patrons. Can't wait for that. I can't wait to rip open boxes and build some decks and get it in the LGS too. Super excited. So it's gonna be cool.
That's awesome. Yep.
I have not. I only played one physical game of Cryptic because they like changed the test deck as soon as changed all the cards as soon as they sent out.
You backed it, right?
I've played a lot on TTS, and I knew what was being put in the box and what the foil pull rates and that kind of stuff were. That's the point.
Dogs lie, George. Let sleeping dogs lie.
Welcome to May the Zoo be with you, Josh. You should know better. That is on you.
The problem with having conversation and arguing with you is you don't listen to the other person at all, and you just keep saying the same thing until finally someone's just like, "All right, you win."
I find that makes the best content. I find that makes the most fantastic content. I don't care what you said. I'm going to yell louder than you.
All right. Yeah.
Welcome to the algorithm.
Super cool. All right. No Mothman in Wilderness. On Friday, while you are watching this, I think I'm going on Saturday. So while you're watching this, if you're watching on Saturday, I'll be at the Mothman Festival. I'm super excited. I met today. Oh, crap. Oh no, I can't remember his name.
Oh, this is great.
Oh no.
You were gonna name drop and you forgot the name.
He came into the shop.
This is amazing.
Oh, I'm so mad at myself. Andrew, I think.
Yeah, Andrew.
Wow, totally.
Andrew. Anyway, the owner of the Flatwood Monster Museum, which is on the other side of West Virginia. But anyway, he told me that there's usually 10,000 people at the Mothman Festival. I've never been there. I'm super excited.
Is that true?
I assume that Andrew's not lying to me, and if his name's Andrew. Anyway, he came in.
I'm assuming the stranger who came into my store.
How much of a relationship do you have with Andrew?
Well, he watches the podcast. He's the owner of the Flatwoods. He came into he was in Huntington, which is like 40-minute drive, 25-minute. I don't know.
He's going to hear that you don't know his name.
Yeah, and I just said I'm sorry. Like I forgot his name while recording the podcast. This is fair. He came in. We had a great conversation in the shop. He didn't know George's name. He's like, I love the banter between you and what's his name.
You might have been talking about Josh.
No, he was talking about you. I asked. It was great. Anyway, but 10,000 people there. I'm super excited to go.
I'm super intrigued now. If there's 10,000 people there. That's a lot of people.
That's a lot of people.
This ecosystem of like loving the cryptids is like really interesting. I guess a lot of people, he was telling me that I was like, how does that work for you? Like, you know, will you see any people come, like, are you going to go to the Mothman Festival and have like a booth for the Flatwoods monster? Because that's what I would do. He said, no, people come to the Mothman and on Friday and Saturday, and then on Sunday and Monday on their way out, they go to the Flatwoods Monster Museum. And he said this is their busiest weekend of the year. Like, that's amazing to me. So it's pretty cool. I'm super excited. But there was no Mothman in Wilderness. And Josh brought up a point this week that he wanted to highlight.
Wilderness box. George sent us a link in our group chat that the Wilderness box was down to $44.
Yeah.
For the first edition Wilderness box. And it just struck out to me that if this was any other game, this would be a bad sign.
Yeah.
This is a bad sign. This is not good.
So let me be very clear here. It's certainly not a good sign. I think the difference is this. Every other game focuses on, we've done this now, that welcome to Groundhog Day. Every other game
we don't have to rehash it.
On the box.
Sure.
Yeah.
Like Hero Quest boxes, the Aoki CD thing is going for $30+ right now. Going for almost as much as the Wilderness box.
It was $5 with $15 shipping.
Yeah, I mean, like it's a sign that MetaZoo is very different. I still think that's a bad sign. I still think $45 is not great. And Mike agrees. That's why he's cutting the print run in half.
Right.
But I don't think, listen, if Genesis boxes were selling below distribution cost, that'd be a terrible sign. Mm-hmm. That'd be a sign that that'd be a 911 emergency. If Cryptic comes out and they sell for below distribution costs, 911 emergency time. MetaZoo has a very different business model than they do. And so that's why it's not good, but I don't think it's fatal. I don't think it's a big problem.
So it's bad for, here's my take on it. It's really bad for consumers. And I know a lot of consumers. I'm in 5 different MetaZoo group chats that started with different MetaZoo products, trying to get them super fast. Anyway. And almost all of them are negative on MetaZoo box product right now.
Yeah.
They are all the groups are targeting, they feel like Kickstarter singles are really cheap and a great time to buy Kickstarter singles. And they're highly focused on that. And then the auxiliary products, like George is saying, and they are disappointed in the boxes. And they have said, I will not be buying any future boxes unless
the problem,
unless it's under $80. That's their new target, whatever. I think that it is horrible for the consumers. I think it's really bad for game stores that still have boxes. Obviously now your boxes are and like on TCG Player they're like $70. Rudy just did a video saying that MetaZoo Wilderness is on its way up. I didn't fully understand that. I see a lot of not that. But I think the difference between MetaZoo and most other games is that they have so much other revenue coming in. And for another game where the only thing you have is 3 sets a year, and the only product that you sell as a game, what you feed your employees with, what you pay is sales to distribution off of boxes, and distribution is sitting on X% of the boxes that they had, and now they're lowering their order by 20-30%. Now you sell as a game company 20-30% less. Like MetaZoo has that issue, but in a much less way because they sell this, that, and the other thing on the back end direct to consumer. So I think it sucks for LGSs, and I think you will see a result of LGSs ordering less product or not ordering product. I think you will have less LGSs for Seance than you did for UFO. I think you had less LGSs for UFO than you had for Wilderness.
So
I think what you are seeing with boxes that one LGS that has boxes for $45 or whatever is an LGS who bought way too many boxes, speculating on Wilderness based on Cryptid Nation first edition, and they're out of MetaZoo and they're just trying to get their money back fast.
Okay. I think a few thoughts. Like, I think what my guess is I did not watch the Rudy video, but my gut is talking about Kickstarter and CN1, which is going crazy right now.
You and I have differing opinions on what crazy looks like for CN1.
It's like $150 like in 4 weeks.
I don't really remember CN1 selling for $350. Maybe I just wasn't paying attention.
That's what it was. That was the low. It was like you could buy it for $350 to $400.
Like $425 was the lowest CN1 boxes that I remember like really being a part. Maybe I wasn't paying attention at that time, but like I don't remember readily available Kickstarter boxes under 4K. I don't remember readily available CN1 boxes under 400. Maybe 1 or 2 a week or something like that, but not like mass market pricing. So like that stuff being at $5,000 right now and 500, if that's where they are, like, well, the trick to me, that's not pumping. Like, I think
that's pretty good. Like, I think, like, listen, that's pretty good. Like, what other new TCG has a $5,000 box still? None. I can't think of
what other new TCG printed 2,500 of them, George.
I agree.
Supply and demand.
But like, listen, like, I mean, they all started at 100, and like now there's $5,000. That's not bad.
Okay,
that's not bad. Like, I don't.
No, that's good.
None of my investments went up, 50x in 3 years? Like, I know it's not good enough for you, Louis, but it's good enough for me. I'll be honest with you.
Gaslight. We still don't know what that means.
I'm about to say, we're still just saying things we don't understand.
It's also not gaslighting. Like CN1.
The problem is that George knows what it is, but he won't tell us because he just wants to embarrass us.
CN1 had 25,000 boxes. And it's $500.
Yep.
And it's basically a reprint of Kickstarter.
Okay.
That's pretty good.
I agree. I'm not criticizing it. I'm just saying, like, it's not, like, in my mind, that's not like pumping.
I think that's really good. And I like, and this is where like MetaZoo behaves a lot more like Pokemon than Magic. If your favorite cryptid isn't in the box, it doesn't sell as well. I can't give away Fusion Strike. I will die with my pallets of Fusion Strike.
I really like that Gengar. Can we open up your pallets until I get here?
You want a pallet?
Yeah.
I'll cut you a deal.
Cut me a deal. I'll tell you what, you take back some of that.
I've been selling pallets of product all week this week, baby.
I need you to make room. I need you to take some of your other product back so I have some room in my storage.
Hard pass. Like, if your favorite cryptid isn't in Wilderness or UFO, it's not going to do as well. And also, it's overprinted. I said this whole time, 100,000 boxes is too many boxes.
I agree, and I think the struggle that MetaZoo will always now have is how do you right a wrong ship? It's going to be you have to take a long sideways. So Seance being half the print run, hopefully they control that. And then you probably have to continue to steer the ship a long way. I don't think you should expect Seance to come out and be pumping. Like, that's my point. Like, I don't think I don't think Mike should expect that. I don't think stores should expect that.
I agree.
And I think it's better that the understanding of stores is that won't be the case, because the worst thing that can happen for any of these sets is for a store to be like, Seance is going to pump. I'm going to order 2,000 boxes of Seance, and they sell 500 boxes, and they have 1,500 boxes to sell, and they don't have any consumers that want them. So all of a sudden they say, okay, what I'm going to do is put out boxes for $50. And then all of a sudden everybody thinks, man, this happened with the uncut sheets. The uncut sheets were selling for $400. Somebody put out some pre-orders, and now nobody wants to touch them because they felt like they saw the box, the cut sheet.
And like I will say, like, and this is where like I think there is some fair criticism. Like I've got my Kickstarter for MetaZoo.
Yeah,
I haven't got a shipping notification.
Yeah,
and then it looks like the gilded decks are like way delayed.
I got one of my 6 Kickstarters for MetaZoo.
How much time do you spend on that website?
On Kickstarter, he
only does it if you can George. Only do it if you can interview the designer, Josh.
George will know this, but you weren't. It was Mitch was on the podcast when I told this.
Rest in peace, Mitch.
I had a rule with my wife that I wasn't allowed to open the Kickstarter app because every time I opened the app, I'd back something. I got really into Kickstarter with board games. Like super into it with board games.
You put me in a very awkward position. Let me defend my position. The MetaZoo boxes selling at $40, I think is very bad. And if we are a TCG podcast and we're talking about the TCG, I think it's very bad. But
we are a Hawaiian shirt podcast that sometimes discusses Lorcana. I don't know how many times I have to explain this to you.
Josh, as somebody who has MetaZoo Wilderness on their shelf for $120, $115, I don't know. I agree with you that $40 boxes are really bad. There's no declining that.
Do I buy one and get 2 free? Do I?
My point is that it's really, really bad for the consumers and stores, and it doesn't matter for MetaZoo. That's my point.
But you didn't let me finish.
Okay, finish.
While I think that is bad, from what you guys have told me about the MetaZoo design team, and more specifically Mike, I think this makes so much more weight fall on the next big IP release, which we're not going to get into Flork shirt boxes or whatever it is. It's the video game, and much more.
There's a rumor.
Yeah,
there's a rumor coming around that if you're a MetaZoo fan, New York Comic-Con might be worth a trip.
Yeah,
there's a rumor going around about the zoo. If you love the zoo,
rumor has it.
You might want to.
Right, can we let Josh finish his statement, please, before you keep gaslighting him?
You might want to make sure you can get to New York Comic-Con.
This podcast is now called Gaslighting.
I like the other one better. The moist basement.
Gaslighting.
Yes.
Gaslighting in the moist basement.
Nailed it. We're in.
Continue, Josh.
This is why people think I don't like MetaZoo, because when I go to say something positive, you both just trample all over me. This is ridiculous.
We don't want you to say anything positive about MetaZoo.
This is gaslighting, is what this is. This is ridiculous.
That's actually closer. No. That's actually closer. Not exact, but you're getting there. Continue.
I'm saying from you guys have given me confidence in the MetaZoo team and in Mike specifically, where when this is happening in the ecosystem around him that he created, that is his baby, that he loves so much, I truly believe there's going to be that much more energy and that much more focus put into these IP projects, mainly the big ones, the video game, the cartoon, or if it's a movie, whatever it is. That I think is more of a sure thing now than ever. Right? Because if everything just kept pumping, it might be easy to try to ride that success. I really think there's going to be a ton of effort put into these saying, you know what, we can do this, and this is how.
So Rudy said this in his video, which is that Mike said that Rudy from Alpha Investments was that basically. Yeah, he's going to be on. The week after Lorcana. Well, Lorcana comes before him.
Okay, that follows.
Rudy basically said that Mike said that the prices of all these boxes are going to be so incredibly low compared to the number of players who are going to be coming in and collectors, investors when all this stuff drops, and that's fine. And I hope that's the case. I think the key here is that these boxes are coming out, like Seance is coming out before anything happens with the video game and movie. And sure, it's time to, in my opinion, and I think he's doing this. He have to print run. I think you will see way more controlled even then UFO, like we're seeing UFO boxes, like wilderness boxes at $40 is one thing. UFO boxes on Facebook for $60, $65 is a whole nother thing. Like that's
on TCG for $60.
Yeah, like that's a whole nother conversation. I think you will continue to see Mike scale back things, like control print runs, and that's what he should do, and that's what he will continue to do.
Yeah.
Like
I just wanted to say I have faith in the direction of the IP. While this I think is bad for the TCG, and it's something I've been saying for a while now, I have more faith now. I know it sounds weird, in the IP projects. Because I know the people working on them, and I know what kind of people they are, thanks to you two. Well, mostly you, Louis. I don't know what the other guy here is doing.
Yeah. So like I think I just want to be on the record. Like I think most stores look at previous box performance, and then they dictate what they're going to do with the next set. So I think stores will order less seance, and more stores will drop MetaZoo as a result of UFO and Wilderness moving forward. And this is where you will see true MetaZoo stores and true people who are really pursuing it versus people who were in it for the tendies.
When does it come out, before or after New York Comic Con?
I don't know. We have a spoiler coming up.
I keep hearing big things are cooking at Comic Con.
I would hope so. Like I would hope that is MetaZoo's every year where they release some.
Here's how you know it's good. I can't hear the Scoopy Scoops.
I prefer
what I'm hearing is true.
I'm sure it's on Facebook somewhere.
Mike, if you announce the Scoopy during Facebook and not let me announce it,
I assure you that whatever big Scoopy you have will not be announced on this podcast. I assure you that.
Mike.
I'll go as far as this. If your Scoopy is as big as you think it is and as important as you think it is, and Mike says that May the Zoo be with you is the correct place to announce it, I will criticize Mike's decision on choosing our podcast.
I can't figure out why our channel is failing. It's a mystery to me now.
No.
Also, I'm assuming that they're going to have to do it, like you'll have to sign some kind of agreement where I'm blurred out, like it's a... CSI
I want that anyway, to be honest with you. That's going to be part of the contract.
I am the best looking one on this podcast, and that is not saying much.
Nobody believes that. Just super clear.
I shaved. I look good. All right, everyone, this is the end of the podcast. This is it. I shaved. It's like, I shaved and did laundry today. So I'm moving up.
This is
Tomorrow's the shower. Tomorrow's the shower.
All right, everyone. This is the end of the podcast.
Thank Christ.
Thank you. This is great. Thank you for watching, listening, and
we'll be better. We'll do better next week. I promise.
You did great, George.
I know I did great. I'm not worried about how I did.
Thank you. May be kind to the people around you. May the zoo be with you.
And also the gaslight with you.
And also with you.